Hey guys, Logan here, and welcome back to my Harry Potter series of reviews. We are getting closer and closer to ending my series of Harry Potter reviews leading up to Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald coming out this Friday. I can't wait for it. And for this review, we're going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. This film is yet again directed by David Yates, and this is the first film in the Harry Potter franchise to not feature Hogwarts. This is the film where Harry, Hermione, and Ron go on a lonely journey to find the Horcruxes and destroy them before Voldemort gets stronger and kills Harry and those he loves. Now, ever since this book was split into two movies, a lot of movie studios have started taking the whole splitting something into two parts or more thing very seriously. We got the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 and 2. We have the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2. And we have The Hobbit being made into 3 movies. These studios looked at this movie as a plan to make more money based off of their films. But then they don't really realize that this is actually a great decision to make, because this book is so huge and the story is so gigantic to tell that it deserves to be split into 2 movies. And whenever you see a film called Part 1, you would expect to be left on a cliffhanger. Part 1 ending where it's left off. Just as a setup for Part 2 that is coming out after Part 1. So you would expect some disappointment, thinking that you're not going to be fully fulfilled at what you wanted. Just something to keep in mind whenever someone feels about a particular Part 1 and 2 type of movie. Now, with that being said, let's get started. The opening scene of this movie is really chilling and creepy. When you see Voldemort's pet snake slithering to a woman that Voldemort already killed, and you see it like going after the camera, thinking that it's about to swallow the woman. That was really, it just gave you goosebumps, or at least it did to me when I first saw this movie in theaters. And the opening scene of this movie is really intense. It's really satisfying. I love that scene, and it's a setup for a few other action scenes to be found later on in the film. And I just love this scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and there is another scene that I will get into later on in this review, but very similar to its predecessor, The Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows Part 1 takes its time to focus on the journey that Harry, Hermione, and Ron take to find these Horcruxes and destroy them before Voldemort finds them and kills them. And that's one of the things that stood this film out from the rest of the films in a good way, because you don't see a lot of help, or in this case, not any help at all from anybody else. It's just Harry, Hermione, and Ron going by themselves to find the Horcruxes, and nobody else. One of the most entertaining scenes in the movie for me is when Harry, Ron, and Hermione disguise themselves as the people who work for the Ministry of Magic, and they infiltrate that place, and Ron gets into his disguise and said something about having a wife, and Harry said, "Ron, you don't have a wife." That was one of the best scenes in the movie for me. And as they're in the woods and more of the Horcruxes take a toll on them emotionally, Ron gets very jealous of Harry being there with Hermione, and Harry and Ron get into a fight, and Hermione just doesn't know what to do. And Ron's leave leads up to the separating of the trio that we always love seeing them together, which gets really sad, and it makes you feel like they no longer have anyone else. And when Harry returns to the place where he was born and he visits the gravestones of both of his parents, oh boy, I could barely get through this scene without being emotional, because this scene, that was hard to get through emotionally. And that's not a bad thing. It's a really touching scene. It's a really beautiful scene. And later on, Harry gets in trouble, and Ron abruptly appears, saves Harry, and destroys one of the Horcruxes. And I say abruptly because his appearance just came out of nowhere. Like, he just came out of nowhere. He was just nowhere to be found by Harry or Hermione. He just basically showed up. It's like the writers were wanting him to be on screen immediately. Like, they immediately want to bring him on screen. And for me, it just really felt abrupt. And the forest chasing is really exciting. I love it. It got me on the edge of my seat, like the first sequence did. And the way David Yates directed and shot that forest chase scene is really intensely great. And that is saying a lot because this film has very minimum amount of action. You don't see very much action in this film, but whenever you do, whenever there is an action scene in this film, it is awesome. So we get into an expositional scene where we learn about the three brothers and the Deathly Hallows and what they are. The Elder One, the Resurrection Stone, and the Cloak of Invisibility. So Harry, Ron, and Hermione get held captive by the Death Eaters led by Bellatrix Lestrange at their place. And then, a few minutes later, they were saved by none other than Dobby, who then dies later, a few minutes later, into the finale, or the ending of the film. And, my God, that scene gave me a tearjerker. And you knew he would die at some point in that scene, but still, that scene really haunted me ever since the day I saw this film in theaters. And then we get a cliffhanger with Voldemort taking the Elder One from Dumbledore and holds it up to the sky, and then the movie ends, setting up for Part 2 to come out in theaters. Now overall, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 is definitely a good movie that doesn't have as much action in it as some of the other ones do, but it relies on these three characters and the journey that they take to find these Horcruxes without help, and the cinematography that looks so darkly glamorous, and David Yates' direction that is so visceral, and the suspense that gets you on the edge of your seat within the moments, and the emotion that beats you straight up. I mean, this is a really fun movie to watch, despite how long it takes to finish the entire Part 1 story. I'm giving Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 a Gold Medal of Honor. So anyway guys, that is my review for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. My next and final review in my Harry Potter series of reviews is going to be for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. And it will be up tomorrow, so I can't wait to finish my series of Harry Potter reviews with that review coming to you tomorrow. I just can't wait. And then Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald comes out on Friday. I can't wait. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I also have another review coming to you later tonight, and that is my review for Creed. I will be uploading that review as soon as I'm done watching it, and then record, edit, and then upload it in time. So stay tuned for my review for Creed later on tonight. If you guys enjoyed my review, please click the like button, and if you have already seen this movie, comment below and let me know what you think of it. If you enjoyed what you've seen here and you want to see future videos from me, please press up there to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great week, Battle Squad, and as always, fight the good fight.